In a move that has stirred political debate across Zambia, Patriotic Front, PF, President Miles Sampa and Party Secretary General Raphael Nakachinda have formally lodged a complaint against the ruling United Party for National Development, UPND, with the United States Embassy in Lusaka. The meeting, held on August 28, 2025, with U.S. Ambassador Michael Gonzalez, was described by PF leadership as a strategic effort to expose what they alleged to be systemic abuses and democratic backsliding under President Hakainde Hichilema's administration. According to statements released by the PF following the meeting, the party presented a detailed report outlining a series of grievances against the UPND government. These included accusations of selective justice, politicization of law enforcement, suppression of opposition voices, and violations of civil liberties. The PF leadership emphasized that their engagement with the U.S. diplomatic mission was not merely symbolic but part of a broader campaign to hold the government accountable on the international stage. Miles Sampa, speaking to journalists after the meeting, asserted that Zambia's democratic institutions were under threat. He claimed that the UPND had weaponized state agencies to target opposition figures, citing recent arrests and legal actions against PF members as evidence of political persecution. Sampa also pointed to what he described as deliberate efforts to exclude the PF from participating in by-elections, arguing that such maneuvers undermine the principles of multi-party democracy enshrined in Zambia's constitution. Raphael Nakachinda echoed these concerns, adding that the government's approach to governance had become increasingly authoritarian. He criticized the UPND for allegedly stifling dissent and manipulating electoral processes to consolidate power. Nakachinda further accused the administration of failing to uphold the rule of law, referencing incidents where opposition rallies were blocked or disrupted by police forces acting under political instruction. One of the most contentious issues raised in the PF's report was the situation surrounding the Mufembwe gold mine. The party alleged that the government had mishandled the dispute over ownership and access to the mine, resulting in violent confrontations and human rights violations. Sampa claimed that the UPND's actions in Mufembwe reflected a broader pattern of economic mismanagement and disregard for local communities, particularly in resource-rich regions. The PF also criticized the government's treatment of Zambians living abroad, highlighting the recent increase in visa fees as an example of exclusionary policy. According to Sampa, the new visa regulations disproportionately affect diaspora communities and reflect a lack of engagement with Zambians outside the country. He argued that such measures alienate citizens who could otherwise contribute to national development through remittances, investment, and advocacy. In addition to these specific grievances, the PF's report to the U.S. Embassy included broader concerns about media freedom and civic space. The party accused the UPND of exerting undue influence over public broadcasters and intimidating independent journalists. Nakachinda cited instances where media outlets were allegedly pressured to avoid covering opposition activities or to frame government narratives in a favorable light. He warned that such practices erode public trust and compromise the integrity of Zambia's information ecosystem. The meeting with Ambassador Gonzalez marks a significant escalation in the PF's strategy to challenge the UPND's governance. By appealing to international actors, the party aims to amplify its message and attract diplomatic scrutiny of the Hichilema administration. Sampa stated that the PF would continue to engage with foreign missions, civil society organizations, and regional bodies to raise awareness about what he described as the deteriorating state of democracy in Zambia. Political analysts have noted that the PF's outreach to the U.S. Embassy reflects a calculated attempt to reposition the party as a defender of democratic norms. Following its electoral defeat in 2021, the PF has struggled to regain political momentum amid internal divisions and public skepticism. However, recent moves by Sampa and Nakachinda suggest a renewed effort to rebrand the party as a credible opposition force capable of challenging the UPND's dominance. Critics of the PF have dismissed the embassy visit as a publicity stunt, arguing that the party itself has a checkered record on governance and human rights. They point to the PF's own tenure in power, during which similar accusations of authoritarianism and corruption were leveled against its leadership. Nonetheless, the current political climate has created space for renewed debate about accountability, transparency, and the role of opposition parties in Zambia's democratic landscape. The UPND government has yet to issue an official response to the PF's report. However, government spokespersons have previously defended the administration's record, citing efforts to reform public institutions, combat corruption, and promote inclusive development. President Hichilema has repeatedly emphasized his commitment to democratic principles and has called for national unity in the face of economic challenges and regional instability. The involvement of the U.S. Embassy adds a layer of diplomatic complexity to the unfolding political narrative. While foreign missions typically refrain from direct intervention in domestic affairs, their engagement with opposition parties can signal concern about governance trends and human rights conditions. Ambassador Gonzalez has previously expressed support for democratic reforms in Zambia and has encouraged dialogue between political stakeholders. As Zambia navigates its post-pandemic recovery and prepares for future elections, the tensions between the PF and UPND are likely to intensify. The embassy visit underscores the importance of international oversight in safeguarding democratic institutions and protecting civil liberties. It also highlights the evolving role of opposition parties in shaping public discourse and holding governments accountable.